Hi, welcome to Choices. On the show, we try to interview healthcare practitioners from around Vancouver Island and bring to you choices that you can make for your healthcare. Now, often we talk about the mind, body, and soul connection, and it's a term that's thrown around quite a bit, but it's one that's not very well defined, at least not in my case. I don't have a real clear definition of it. And tonight we're going to be speaking with somebody who might be able to shed a bit of light on that for us. You know, when you feel that connection, what does it feel like for you? How do you know when you're actually making the connection between your mind, your body, and your soul? If any of you have any experience with that, you may have some physical sensation or a mental sensation, and we are going to be discussing that on the show as to how that actually feels and a methodology into accentuating that and actually hoping today that you can actually experience that. So I'd like to introduce Lucky Sund.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on the show,
Thank
Lucky.
you so much for having me.
And you are bringing with you a wealth of knowledge on happiness.
Yes.
And how to bring that about through breathing and yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what actually brought you to this whole program.
So it started with the Art of Living Foundation. It's an international NGO. It's a humanitarian and educational organization. It's in over 150 countries worldwide, and over 300 million people have been affected by our programs and our humanitarian efforts. So just quickly, under the humanitarian umbrella of it, we offer prison smart programs for prisoners rehabilitating out of prison, and the founder, Sri Ravi Shankar, really believes that there's a victim inside every criminal, and believes in second chances, third chances, and we give that opportunity to them. And for veterans who come back from war or who have been affected by the traumas that they go through when they're overseas, we have Project Welcome Home Troops and various other programs, or for natural calamities like the earthquake in Nepal. We were one of the first to respond. So humanitarian aspect of it is very large there, and we try to respond to everything we can. And then educationally, we offer self-development and stress management programs, and these programs really focus on the breath and the connection between the breath and the mind and the emotions, because there's a very, very close link between the three. Okay. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more, but other programs we offer are yoga programs, meditation, silence courses, and today I'm here to talk about the happiness program. So
yes,
that's the Art of Living. That's what brought me here today. Yeah.
So what is the happiness program? So
the happiness program is a 5-day program. That centerpiece is Sudarshan Kriya. And it's a rhythmic breathing technique that affects you at a cellular level. There's been a lot of research done with this particular breathing technique. And Sudarshan, just to let you know, is a Sanskrit word, Sudarshan Kriya. Su means proper, darshan means vision, Kriya means purifying action. So it's that purifying action that gives you a proper vision of who you really are. So in the 5 days, it's not just the breathing techniques. You do low impact yoga, you do a little bit of meditation and various processes to teach us how to deal with our emotions. Because nowhere in life are we taught how, were you taught in school how to deal with your emotions?
No, they got stirred up more often than not. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, your anger or your frustration, even overexcitement or nervousness or whatever it may be, or how to deal with relationships in life, with your parents, with your spouse, with your, you know, whoever it may be in life. So very practical tools. It's ancient wisdom put in a modern context. And so throughout the 5 days, you experience that transformational effect. And that's why I'm sitting here today as a teacher. I was so profoundly impacted by what Sri created that I wanted to share it with other people, and I'm honored to.
So how can that affect, or how does that affect then let's start off with the physical, and we'll talk about the mental and then the spiritual in a moment. How does that affect the physical
So
wellness?
If we talk about stress, you know, everyone has a different definition of stress.
Sure.
So stress is your body vacillating, or your mind vacillating between the past and the future. So our mind is constantly either in the past or running to the future. What already happened and regretting it, or guilt, the unpleasant emotions I'm talking about, or the future, the unpleasant emotions of the future, fear, anxiety, right?
Yes.
So we're constantly, now if you take a piece of pizza and you put it in the microwave and you put it in the fridge and you constantly do that back and forth, are you going to want to eat that pizza by the end of it?
I don't eat pizza, but I know what
you
you mean.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's not going to be very look very nice
Yeah,
after.
and it won't sound good what's coming out of your mouth either.
Right. And so at the level of our body, we have a certain temperature. And when you get angry, your temperature rises. And when you get sad, your temperature goes lower.
Or fearful.
Or fearful, exactly.
Shut you down.
It shuts down. So your body is going between this constant hot, cold, hot, cold. That's one way to explain it.
Sure, okay.
And your body undergoes stress. That stress comes out as physical ailments, whatever it may be. It may be blood pressure, whatever it may be, depression, anxiety, the other things. Yeah. So it starts to stabilize that effect. Sudarshan Kriya starts to stabilize that effect in the body.
So you no longer vacillate between the extremes of emotions.
Yeah, and exactly. And so the breath is that link that brings our mind to a present moment. If you think of a kite and the kite is flying everywhere, that's the mind. And if you think of the string, that's what you control. That's your breath. So you can use your breath to control your mind.
Okay.
And if you learn to do that, you'll see that your response rates to things, situations that happen in life get better. You know, you start to respond rather than react. Instead of instantly getting angry, you simmer down and you relax, and then you respond to the situation.
So that's the basis for pretty much all meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, they call it anapana in various other traditions.
Yeah.
How does this differ then, or does it differ?
It does. Well, there's a lot of other techniques, and whatever works for you is the best thing to do. So this is just another technique for us to offer the community, right? So if this resonates better with you, or if it resonates well, it's the beauty of Sudarshan Kriya is you can do it with any other practice. It doesn't conflict with any other practice. If you're doing any other meditation or yoga or anything, it actually complements everything and brings it together.
It brings movement into it, does it not? Which is not traditional, seated meditation. There's no movement.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So.
Because that is one thing that drives me crazy sometimes, sitting in silent
And
meditation.
sitting
there after 3 or 4 days of that on a retreat,
Yeah.
your body really wants to move.
Yeah, and Sri Sri is really practical. He knows we have busy lives and we have a lot going on. So the practice is under 30 minutes and you do it daily. You can fit it into whatever time slot you want to in the day, and it's very adaptable. Anywhere you go, you can practice it.
Well, you mentioned earlier before the show started that the Indian Parliament is now doing this.
Yes, so Narendra Modi has taken the program, and he talks to Sri Sri, and they have a relationship, and he does it with their parliament, and they meditate before they start some sessions and whatnot.
I think all politicians on the campaign trail, this election, federal election, should be doing some sort of meditation breathing techniques before they even open their mouths.
It's not such a wild idea. The European Parliament invited Sri Sri to their sessions, to hold sessions with them. So he's getting a lot of response. It's something that cuts through any race, religion, or any socio-economic status. It cuts through everything, which is the beauty of it. That's why we're in 150 countries worldwide, right?
A peaceful mind really does have no race or creed or religion.
No, it doesn't, and that's what it is, yeah.
Excellent. So what got you involved, and how did you find yourself becoming part of this?
Yeah, so it happened about 10 years ago. I was 16 at the time, and one of my best friends called me Nana, and she was like, Lucky, there's this amazing program, you have to take it. And she also hadn't taken it at the time, and I was weary. I was like, do I really need to? What is it? And she was like, just trust me, like friends do.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, I trust you, and I'll come. What do I have to lose? And at the time, it's that tender age where you're just getting out of high school, and you don't know what you want to do, and it's such a big step. It's a transformational step that you're about to take. So I went and I took the program, and it was a 5-day program, and my teachers were incredible, and it changed my life. Yeah. After that, nothing was the same. All the processes, and one thing that really struck me and stuck with me all my life, actually, that they said was, on the very first day, they're like, how much effort you put into the course is how much effort will reflect back in your life. Sure. And I gave my 100% in that course, and I got tenfold back. I didn't even get 100% back. I'm sitting here today because I gave my 100% in that course.
So how has it affected your life? You mentioned you're in school right now, studying hard.
Yes, I am. It's perfect. Stress has no, stress affects everybody, right? So as a student, as someone who's constantly studying, as somebody who's also working, I'm a pharmacy technician as well, and I have a lot of goals that I want to achieve, and so it really balances me, and it gives me clarity to focus, and it gives me clarity of mind to deal with people in my life, some not so good that I like to deal with, and some, there's various different people, but it gives you the power. It makes you feel so powerful as an individual. You take responsibility for your own life, and you start to take responsibility for others. And I think that's the beauty. That's what I really gained from my first course and doing this.
And now you're teaching, I understand.
Yeah.
You're teaching and you're going around Canada?
Yes, yeah. So I've traveled across Canada teaching various other programs as well. I teach youth courses. We have courses for youth, and I was just in the retreat center in Montreal a few weeks ago, and I taught youth course while Shri Shri was there. And it's beautiful just teaching these programs and watching it right before your eyes. Within the 5 days, you start to see people's lives transform.
Okay.
It's so beautiful.
Okay, so we spoke a little bit about the physical,
Yes.
the detoxification or the cleansing. You've mentioned about the clarity of your mind and that ability to create a bit of a gap between reacting and then responding. What about spiritual? How have you found it's touched your spiritual level of life?
You know, when I think of spirituality, I think of awareness. And I think of awareness of myself, people around me, and the consciousness. And you really start to feel like one with everyone. Okay. You know, you start to see yourself as a reflection of others, and others a reflection of you. Okay. And you go so deep in yourself, and you hit this spot where there's just pure bliss, and you realize that you are true love, and you are true joy, you know. And Shri Shri always says that, you know, it brings you back to be childlike, you know. Without that childlike beauty that you see in children, what attracts us so much to children is 1 second they're mad at you, the next second they're hugging you and they're telling you they love you. They just let go so easily. And you realize that life is so much more than this small, I have a 9-to-5 job and I have to make money and I have to raise my kid. Like, you do all of that, but you also give time to yourself.
Right.
And
maybe you do it with a smile on your face a bit more.
Exactly, you do
and a little less concern that it has to be all right.
Exactly. You start to accept situations, you start to accept people, and being in the present moment is what true spirituality is, right?
Awareness.
Being in the present moment is so essential. So.
We're going to take a bit of a break.
Okay.
We'll be back in a few moments, folks, and when we get back, Lucky is going to show us some very unusual, I'm not going to call it meditation, but breathing meditation.
Breathing techniques, yeah.
We'll be back in just a moment. Thank you.